Alert coming out that the United States is preparing for potential attacks on U.S. soil. Take a look. In the past couple of days, the alert has been coming out that the U.S. troops, they are currently being sent to counter Russian threats that are currently being posed in Alaska. That is right. Now, this comes as, take a look at this. Russian state TV discusses options for seizing Alaska. Now, I know what you might be thinking at first here. This is just Russian TV. This is just talk. What's the big deal? Well, it turns out that the United States is not feeling that way as more articles are coming out. Take a look at this. The United States currently, they are building up their naval troops presence near Alaska amid Russian activity. So Russian TV is talking about potentially taking over the area of Alaska in the United States in the Pacific. And amid that, we are seeing tons of activity unfolding over there as China and Russia are both sending over various airspace crafts. We're hearing that warships are going over there. There is a lot building up in the Pacific right now, and there is concern that Russia could actually be preparing to do an attack and potentially try to seize Alaska. That is right. Now, this is coming out as things are building and intensifying with potential war, and this is all coming as a result of what has been unfolding recently with the United States, NATO, Ukraine, and Russia. As I shared with you not too long ago, that Putin had said that NATO will be in a war if the United States or their allies let Ukraine use long-range missiles against Russia. And what we've heard is that the UK and other nations of NATO are saying that they are giving essentially the green light to go ahead. Russia's saying they are furious with this and saying, do you understand that you are now giving the green light for nuclear war and for World War III? I shared with you the articles coming out on this, and we're hearing that they are saying, yes, go ahead. Now, at this time, though, it has not been made official. I've let people know here on the channel that I'm keeping you up to date on everything, but take a look at this, you guys. What we're seeing is these are the nations of NATO. Russia is preparing to go to war with all of these nations. I believe there's 35 total, if I remember correctly. Albania, Belgium, Bulgaria, Canada, Croatia, all of these different ones. France is in here. All the way at the bottom, the United States. The United States is included in NATO as well. These are all of the members, and the United States would be involved in this. The United States, without a doubt, being the primary defender of NATO if they went to war. Now, just to clarify, just so there's no confusion, take a look here. Now, they're saying that the United States and the UK, they have not given the go-ahead to use long-range missiles to hit Russia to Ukraine at this time. It is not official, but we are hearing, take a look at the second one, private deal could let Ukraine fire missiles into Russia, and we're hearing that there are a lot of talks about them saying, yes, go ahead, make the move, go ahead and do that. No, there's currently no new pledge on Ukraine's missiles, they're saying right now, and the United States is also saying this as well. We have not given the go-ahead. The United States shocked at the talk of saying that the go-ahead has been given to Ukraine for long-range missiles, but Russia, nonetheless, very upset with even the talk of this and saying, okay, be prepared. And Russia saying, and we've heard this vocalized by Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, he has let everybody know, listen, this is just the first phase of Russia's plan, is to take over Ukraine. There are several other phases, and all of these NATO countries, you are next on the list. And who would have thought that the United States was actually potentially a part of that as well? Take a look at this. Just coming out last week, Putin threatens war with NATO as Russian military aircraft spotted off Alaska. So about a week or so ago, we were hearing Russian President Vladimir Putin warning that if you allow this to happen, there is going to be war, and he was throwing out these threats. Now, in just the past couple of days, there are talks about them potentially threatening Alaska, the United States territory, just right over in the Pacific. So coming after the United States, man, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like I said, alerts being issued. I'm going to be sharing with you the articles, what they're saying on the Russian state TV, what the United States is currently doing to keep Alaska safe, and share with you the articles so you can see it, hear the latest as this is coming to the U.S. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, as Russia now issuing the threats to the U.S. amongst the NATO nations as well. The United States not taking this lightly, like I said, actually preparing for potential attacks and war, positioning troops getting them ready. So let's go ahead and dive right in. But before we do me a quick favor. I see that we've got 2,349 people on with me live right now. Today it is Sunday, September the 22nd, 2024. I'm going to share with you the latest articles, and they are all linked in the description below. I cite all the sources for you. If you appreciate that, do me a favor, hit that like button for me. I see we've got about 526 likes with 2,403 people in the room. If we could get those likes up to, if just half of the room appreciates the updates, can take a second to hit that like button, spreads this out further, I would appreciate it a ton. Helps out the channel. Also, to stay up to date on everything going on, and there is a lot going on. Right now, I've been letting you guys know about what's happening in the Middle East as things are intensifying with Israel and Lebanon and the Hezbollah terrorists that are being attacked by Israel right now and just being wiped out. But simultaneously, we have potential threats here in the United States against our own soil as well. Absolutely incredible what is going on in the Pacific. And we've already heard these warnings that if something goes down, likely that Pacific coast needs to be on watch. Alaska, Washington, Oregon, California, all along that coast there, they are saying is susceptible. Hawaii, a primary location right in the middle of the Pacific. Well, they're saying that Russia has their eye on Alaska. I'm going to be sharing with you the latest on this. So like I said, to stay up to date, hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. Why not? Make sure you're staying subscribed. A lot of people letting us know that the YouTube settings seem to be unsubscribing them. We're not sure why, if it's some sort of bug or an update. Turn on the notification bell to be notified as soon as breaking news comes out. And also, if communications do go down for social media, www.steveramnews.com. I try to make sure that I share with people. There is a newsletter. You can get weekly emails with all of the updates, so that way you know what's going on. We're going to start working on that some more to make sure that people can stay connected, even if they don't have access to social media. Even I had a lot of people tell me that hurricanes and various things knocked out their internet. They're trying to catch up with speed with what's going on in the world. Well, I'll also be sending out those emails as well. So www.steveramnews.com to stay up to date on that. And also, if there is some sort of attack on the United States, or if there is some sort of cyber attack, we've heard these warnings, or there's just anything and you want to be ready, we always say here in the channel, listen, we know this is not the news that everybody wants to hear. We do not believe in a spirit of fear, but we do believe in preparation. I always say on the channel, don't be scared, be prepared. If you are concerned about what could unfold, additional resources linked down in the description for you to go ahead and make sure that you are prepared for anything. We have EMP-proof fabrics, flashlights, batteries, various different resources, paper maps, things that are available for you and your family, along with free guides that we've created as well to think about what happens if the power goes down, and also medical kits as well available for you in the description. So all that is available to you guys. Again, do me a favor, hit the like button. We've got 2,596 people live with me in the room, 1,053 likes. Amazing. Thank you so much for the support. And Braxton, thank you for the $2 super chat. God bless you, Steve. Love you. I appreciate that a ton. God bless you. Justin, thank you for the $5 super chat. Will there be a draft? Justin, I did a video on that, and man, according to the numbers, it is not looking like our military has the people we need if we go to war. I will keep you up to date on that. I might even look into that again, because if you look at the last video I shared with you all the numbers for all the different armed forces for the United States, and it is not looking good. We are at a 10th of what we were the last time we had to do a draft. A 10th. And they're also saying, I think it's, man, I can't even remember. I want to say like 3 out of 4 of Gen Zs, which is going to be the generation that is drafted, if there is a draft, ages 18 to 25. I believe, if I remember correctly, they're saying they're not even eligible. They're saying that they don't pass the education tests, the fitness tests. A lot of them have various issues. It's incredible. They're saying 3 out of 4 would not even be able to fight in the armed forces if there was a draft. So they're saying that our military, it seems like the United States is in trouble. We're going to see. But I've heard a lot of millennials. I've even heard a lot of boomers, a lot of Gen Y saying, hey, I'll go. I'm ready. I want to fight for the nation. But then there's a lot of people as well, a lot of military families that are telling their kids, don't go fight for the current state of this America. Right now, this America that we have is not the same America that we've had for generations. And they're saying, I'm not willing to sacrifice my children at the altar of this, what a lot of them have said, woke America. Man, so let me know your thoughts, you guys. I will continue to keep you up to date on that. But it looks like things are intensifying around the world, and now coming here to the home front in the United States and Alaska, we're hearing that there are potential threats that the United States is preparing for. And let me know your thoughts. Put a 3 in the comments if you think that we are on the verge of a war, of World War III. Put a 4 if you think no, it's going to be okay. We're going to dodge a bullet. Things are going to de-escalate here very soon. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Drop those 3s, drop those 4s. I see we've got 3,000 people on with us live, so let's go ahead and dive into the articles, get you caught up on the latest. And again, hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. I see we just need 6 more likes to get to 1,300. Thank you so much for that. But let's go ahead and get you caught up on the latest. So let's dive into the articles. Now, this one's coming out from Politico. All you got to do right now is type into Google search U.S., Alaska, Russia, and you will see that the United States over the past couple of days has been positioning our military to be prepared for potential attacks coming from Russia. Absolutely incredible, you guys. So things are intensifying. The actions follow a series of Russian air operations that skirted Alaskan airspace, and as Russian and Chinese warships conducted joint exercises across the Pacific. Now, like I said, this has been the past couple of days, so this came out 48 hours ago. It says U.S. military is steadily boosting its presence near Alaska, deploying a destroyer and an Army unit armed with a long-range missile system as tensions rise due to stepped-up Russian and Chinese military activities near the Alaskan coast. So they are very concerned about this. And you guys know, over the past couple of years, we have seen Chinese spy balloons flying overhead. We've had warnings of Chinese, Russian, and Iranian cyber attacks, and now we're actually seeing military activity in the Pacific along Alaska. So they are very concerned at this time, moving those armed forces to be prepared potentially for any escalation or attack that should take place. Now, over the past month or so, the destroyer USS Sterett has been dispatched to the Alaskan coast in response to the Russian Navy ships operating in the area. Army troops have landed on a remote Alaskan island, and fighter squadrons and other aircraft based in Alaska have been placed on heightened alert. The actions follow a series of Russian air operations that skirted Alaskan airspace, and as Russian and Chinese warships conducted joint exercises across the Pacific near Japan. And so we are seeing, and this is the major concern right now for the U.S. The U.S. not necessarily concerned with China itself or Russia itself. I mean, they are to some degree, but right now the major concern, which has actually also caused the United States to change its entire nuclear strategy, is the unification of our enemies, our adversaries coming together. Russia, China, North Korea, Iran simultaneously coming together to potentially attack the United States. And we're seeing Russia and China playing war games in the Pacific together, and now this threat against Alaska. So over the past month, as I mentioned, we have seen this unfolding. Now, the article says that Moscow has taken to flexing its muscles in the Indo-Pacific and the Arctic as its relations with China deepens, thanks in part to the war in Ukraine. And as I've shared with you here on the channel, former President Donald Trump saying that if he is elected the president, as president-elect, before he even gets into office, he has said that he will end the war in Russia and Ukraine. And a lot of people saying that they didn't think that that was possible, speculating how on earth could you do that or promise that. But literally within 48 hours, we saw Volodymyr Zelensky and Vladimir Putin both saying, if you've got a plan, let us know, because we take it very seriously. And you see China in there, and that is because the war between Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine is being funded by NATO and the United States, funneling funds in order to keep them going. Well, Russia, the same thing is happening from China. China is funneling funds into Russia. So China and Russia, that relationship deepening with the war that is currently unfolding in Ukraine. Largely without allies in Europe to partner with, Russian ships and aircrafts, they have run a series of large-scale exercises in the Pacific as Beijing and Moscow draw closer due to each nation's isolation from the international communities, building on economic ties brought about by international sanctions. Now, Russia's foreign ministry is warning that it is fully ready for a conflict with NATO in the Arctic. And like I said, they had warned that if you allow Ukraine to use long-range weapons into Russia, we will consider NATO at war. We see NATO stepping up drills related to possible crises in the Arctic, said Sergei Lavrov, and according to Russian state media, in comments for a documentary series that were first reported on Friday. Our country is fully ready to defend its interests militarily, politically, and from the standpoint of defense technologies, he said. The Arctic includes territories belonging to 8 nations: Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Canada, the United States, Iceland, and Russia. All except Russia are NATO members. Even so, Lavrov warned that the Arctic is not the territory of the North Atlantic Alliance and said other non-Arctic countries such as China and India hold interest there as well. Senator Dan Sullivan expressed deep concern over the situation, noting a significant uptick in the scale and frequency of Russia and China's military activity in the region. Sullivan, who has been lobbying military leaders to upgrade Alaska's military infrastructure, stressed the importance of standing firm against what he sees as aggressive moves by authoritarian regimes. The tempo has gone way up, he said. The senior Senate Armed Service Committee member said in this interview, the number of assets have gone way up. It's air service and subsurface. It's air, surface, and subsurface that the Russians are employing, but they are doing it much more in a joint capacity with China than they have ever done. They are clearly escalatory, he said. So this is the response. Now, like I said, this was also coming out on Russian state TV. And like I said, a lot of people might think, well, it's just the TV. It's not a big deal. It's just propaganda. But we are seeing the response coming out from the United States on this. Let's go ahead and take a look at what they are saying on Russian TV. Russian state TV recently broadcast a segment of a talk show during which the host discussed the potential of Alaska joining Russia. In the show, the host makes a joke saying, "Do you know what they call Alaska? Ice Crimea." He then added that Alaska will, quote, one day return to its native shores. The hosts are referring to the fact that Alaska once belonged to Russia before being sold to the United States in 1866. This echoes rhetoric used in the war in Ukraine that Ukraine, quote, belonged to Russia. So the exact same wordage that they had used regarding Ukraine, which they are now attacking, they are using for Alaska as well. And therefore, it should join its so-called native land, they said. Now, the Pentagon did not provide a statement when approached for comments on these claims by Newsweek that they had contacted the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs via email for comments. Now, you can also see here a look almost from directly on top of the North Pole looking down. You can see right here the Arctic Circle, and you can see how close Russia and China actually are to Alaska and Canada. You can see the Arctic Ocean, the North Pole, Greenland, Iceland, Moscow, all right in that vicinity. So you can see that Russia actually is not too far away from Alaska, and they are running those drills in that area. So right now, we are hearing that the United States is moving its ships over, preparing for that. Now, the clip was posted on September 20th by Anton Gershenko, a former member of the Ukrainian parliament and current advisor for the Interior Ministry of Ukraine. He captioned the clip on X, formerly Twitter, account, "Attention, United States. Russian propagandists are discussing possible options for the return of Alaska." Now, the men in the clip also claim that the U.S. is, quote, very scared, and that the U.S. has deployed a division with HIMARS systems, or high-mobility artillery rockets, to the Aleutian Islands, a chain of islands beside Alaska. Tensions around Russia and Alaska intensified in January of 2024 when reports surfaced that President Putin was looking into reobtaining Russia's former real estate abroad. I think I can speak for all of us in the United States government to say that certainly he's not getting Alaska back, said State Department Principal Deputy Spokesperson Vedant Patel during a press briefing about the incident in January. At the time, the former Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev joked about Alaska on X, teasing that war is unavoidable. Since the State Department said Russia was not getting Alaska back, he added, at a laughing emoji to the post. Newsweek has contacted the State Department via phone and online forms for further comments. In recent days, there has been an increase in foreign activity near Alaska, according to a statement from Alaska Governor Mike Dunleavy on September 17th. Once again, our military has had a response to activities by our nation's adversaries. Russian and Chinese incursions into the U.S. zones off Alaska have become an increasingly frequent occurrence, he said. Dunleavy urged leaders in Washington to recognize that Russia has increased its military presence in the region. So that is currently what is being said on Russian state TV. And as I mentioned, the United States preparing right now, moving those troops over there with their concerns of what is potentially going to be unfolding here. The United States is on alert with everything that is going on in the Pacific. Absolutely incredible, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I see people are joining the group, hitting that join button. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate those monthly contributions. Not necessary, but greatly appreciated. As a result, after the live streams, you will see all the sources for my videos pop up in your feed. Now, I already cite them all in the description, but you're going to get that as an additional benefit for supporting the channel. Thank you. I see BX Technologies is on. He's saying hit the like button and subscribe, y'all. Michael Harrison, thank you for the $10 super chat. He says, I love and for my country and try not to hold hatred to anyone, but I'm not really for the government, but I'm not a criminal or not a gangster or in any organized crimes, he says. Well, thank you for that $10 super chat. Thank you for that, sharing that, Michael. I appreciate that a ton. I will continue to keep you up to date on everything. And thank you for supporting our nation. John Richardson's member for 2 months says, hey, Steve, I hope all is going well with you and your family. Thank you for that, John. Yes, we are doing well. I pray that everyone else is doing well as well. Gary Schreeb, thank you for the $10 super chat. Alaskans are a lot like Texans. We are all armed, and a third of the Air Force is in Alaska. Thank you for letting me know that, Gary. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I'm glad to hear that. I am down here in Texas, and yes, we believe in protecting ourselves. Ingrid Stewart says, Steve Ram, it's Ingrid and Charlie from Alberta, Canada. We are truly grateful for your information every day. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that a ton. And I see people putting Trump flags, American flags, Trump America, says Dr. Gabriel, says Diana. Patrick saying Chinese troops are here. Yeah, we've been hearing the warning of potential cyber attacks and those crossing our southern border already being here in the United States. The FBI letting us know for quite some time there are sleeper cells already here. Freedom Check says, I love your show. Please keep it going. Thank you so much for the support and the kind words. I will continue to do so regardless of what happens. I'll make sure that people know exactly what is going on as we're hearing about this new threat specifically against the United States. And like I've shared with people here on the channel, that we've received warnings from the FBI that all the Pacific, all the coast of the United States, the ports, California, Alaska, all of them are under potential threat, specifically Hawaii as well, as they are the closest to Russia and China. They would likely be the first targets if there were potential attacks or movement that unfolded in the Pacific. Carrie Cole, thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that a ton. Now, in addition to that, I've also let people know that we've heard as well that there's concern about what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico. As we saw Russian submarines and that fleet go down, and they docked in, I believe it was Cuba, if I remember correctly. And a lot of people wondering what is going on. Now, Cuba and Russia both saying nothing to worry about, just simple drills. But the question is, do you trust what they are saying? A lot of people saying that Russia at that time saying, oh, the United States, you can go ahead and send weapons, missiles to our enemies and have them positioned to hit us. Why can't we do the same? And Russia saying that they were going to be doing just that. So a lot of people speculating, was that what Russia was doing with Cuba? Or was it just standard procedure drills? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Carrie Cole, thank you for the $10 super chat. Justin, thank you for the $5 super chat. So I'm 21. I have metal in my ankle. Will they draft me, says Justin. Justin, great question. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that they would, because of the fact that you have a disability. They might deem you ineligible. I can't remember what are the eligibility requirements. I actually covered it in a previous video when I've discussed the draft several times, as a lot of people are saying that they're probably going to need to enact it. But the problem is that right now, the current generation, they're saying that if we go to war, Gen Z, 18 to 25, they're not ready. A lot of them are not even fit, or, won't pass. And they said there's like a educational test requirement. They said a lot of them won't pass that. A physical test requirement. A lot of them won't pass that. And then a lot of them as well, we're hearing a lot of the previous families that have been generational military families, they're not telling their kids to continue on. We're only hearing about a third of them are doing that. So only 33%. Over half now are saying, do not go fight for this nation. It is no longer a nation that we once knew and does not have the same morals and beliefs that we have fought for. And they're saying, nope, do not do it. So that is definitely a great question. Will there be a draft if we go to war? We're hearing the reserves that we currently have in our U.S. military are a tenth of what they were the last time that we needed a draft. Absolutely incredible. Brandon Reed, thank you for joining the Ram fam, becoming a supporter, hitting that join button. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I will continue to keep you up to date. And like I said, I try to cite everything, hold myself accountable to the community. As a result, right after this feed, you will see popping up, right after the stream, you will see in your feed all of my sources cited, but I still will cite them for everybody anyways. They're going to be linked in the description. They already are at this moment, linked in the description, hyperlinks, so you can go right to the articles that I'm referencing. And I see people asking what is going on as we are approaching 4,000 people with me live in the room. So for those of you hopping on a little bit late, just a quick recap so you know exactly what is taking place here. Let me go ahead and switch the screen so you can see the articles. We have received alerts that the United States in the past couple of days is sending troops over to Alaska amid a threat that we are now receiving from Russia and China coming together, running drills. Now, this comes as Russian TV is discussing the option of seizing Alaska, which a lot of people at first might think, so what? Just people talking out of their head about potentially seizing Alaska. Well, no, the United States taking this very seriously. We're actually seeing the U.S. building up naval troops presence near Alaska amid the activity that is unfolding in the Pacific. And like I said, this comes as Putin says that NATO will be in war if the United States or its allies lets Ukraine fire long-range missiles at Russia. And a lot of people saying that, Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, they are playing chess. They are not just responding, reacting. They are strategically planning. China, we're hearing, has been infiltrating U.S. infrastructure systems, water, electrical, communications, transportation for the past 5 years in anticipation for a potential attack against Taiwan, wanting to prepare to wreak havoc on the United States in anticipation that the U.S., an ally of Taiwan, would come to the side of Taiwan to support them. So China thinking 10 steps ahead, preparations for attack 5 years in the making. Russia right now, what we're hearing, might be strategically planning to position troops and scouting out the land for an attack against Alaska in anticipation that Ukraine will be permitted to use long-range weapons against Russia, in which Russia is now saying would be a declaration of war in their eyes, and they have warned would be the beginning of nuclear war and World War III, and that could be their opportunity to try to seize Alaska back. And like I said, we're hearing Russian TV right now talking about potentially taking it back, referring to when it was once a part of Russia before the purchase in the 1800s. And they're saying they're going to be at war with NATO nations. Here are all the NATO nations, and without a doubt, the main one, the United States, out of this NATO alliance. But Russia saying they're ready to go to war with all of them, with what is currently unfolding as things are escalating. And like I said, though, just for clarification, the United States and the UK, they currently have not officially given the go-ahead for the use of long-range missiles by Ukraine against Russia. But we are hearing that there are a lot of talks and a lot of them saying we approve, go ahead, though it has not been made official. And the United States, we were hearing, actually kind of shocked, caught off guard by this response, because the United States saying, no, we have not given the go-ahead. Russia furious with what has been coming out over the past week or so, the past couple of days regarding this, and Putin threatening war with NATO. And this coming as the Russian military aircraft spotted off the coast of Alaska. So they're saying Alaska could be on Russia's hit list next. And like I said, Volodymyr Zelensky warning all of the NATO nations, just understand this. Russia is not just attacking Ukraine. Ukraine is just phase one of Russia's plan to take over. And you could be next. And what we're hearing is Alaska could be next. And the United States preparing for that. So things are definitely intensifying, you guys. It is absolutely crazy. I see we got 4,000 people on with me live. That is the latest updates. These articles are going to be linked in the description. Hit that like button if you appreciate the updates. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. I'll keep you up to speed on everything. But you guys, check out the videos on Israel and Hezbollah if you haven't, as we're hearing wars popping off there too. Put a 3 if you think we're on the verge of World War III. But that is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll keep you up to speed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless.